working? Let me turn off. I don't need to hear my own voice. Much better. Yeah, God, that would have been gross. Oh well, welcome back. We're going to play some more Nuclear Throne. We're going to memorize a little bit more of A Midsummer Nights Dream. I should probably start by checking how much of it I remember. I only reviewed it like once, which is not advisable. You should review it more than that. I'm a bad example. But it's worth it, I think, to go back through and check and see how it's sticking. So why don't we pull that up in here? I should also probably memorize like the scene numbers and headers and stuff. That could be fun. I'll have to see if there's a standard version of those. There isn't. Now, dear Hippolyta, or fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days bring another moon, but Omi thinks how slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desires like to a stepdame or a dowager, long withering out a young man's revenue. That was the typo we found last time. And then Hippolyta says, 4 days will quickly steep themselves in night, 4 nights will quickly dream away the time, and then the moon, like to a silver bow, I say new bent in heaven, not now bent in heaven. That's what the Norton says. New bent in heaven, because it's a new moon, shall behold the night of our solemnity. Plural, solemnities. Yes. Go, Philostrate, stir up the Athenian youth to merriments. Yep. The first thing. Oh gosh, I know what the other two are. Stir up the Athenian youth to merriments. Is it awaken? Yeah, it is. So it's awake first. Yep. So those are the 3. Go, Philostrate. Stir up the Athenian. This is what I review. Go, Philostrate. Stir up the Athenian youth to merriment. Awake the pert and nimble spirit of mirth. Merriments. Awake the pert and nimble spirit of mirth. Turn melancholy forth to funerals. The pale companion is not for our pomp. And then he turns, Hippolyta, I wooed thee with my sword, and won thy love doing the injuries, but I will wed thee. Will or shall? Will. Will wed. I will wed thee in another key. Pomp, with triumph, and with reveling. And then Aegeus comes in and says, let's just get the monologue queued up. Happy be Theseus, our renowned Duke. Thanks, good Aegeus, what's the news with thee? Full of vexation come I with complaint against my child, my daughter Hermia. Stand forth, Demetrius. My noble lord, this man hath my consent to marry her. Stand forth, Lysander. Spam risk call incoming, that was nice. Thou, Lysander, thou hast interchanged love to... Thou hast given her rhymes. Yeah. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes and interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast by moonlight at her window sung with feigning voice verses of feigning love. That's the person dying in the DreamWorks moon. Feigning voice verses of feigning love. And... feigning voice verses of feigning love. I simply don't know this. And stolen the impression of her fantasy. Let's come up with an image for that. This is why we review. And stolen the impression of her fantasy. So, falling backwards in the moon with feigning voice versus a feigning love. And then maybe the DreamWorks thing will be fishing off and stealing something off of the balcony. Let's say. At her moonlight, at her window sung. That type of idea. That'll work. Thou, Lysander, thou hast given her rhymes, interchanged love tokens with my child. Thou hast by moonlight at her window sung with feigning voice verses of feigning love, and stolen the impression of her fantasy with bracelets of thy hair, rings, gauds, conceits, knacks, trifles, nosegays, sweetmeats, messengers of strong prevailment and unhardened youth. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart and turned her obedience, which is due to me, to stubborn harshness. And, my gracious Duke, be it so she will not hear before your grace consent to marry with Demetrius. I beg the ancient privilege of Athens, as she is mine I may dispose of her, which shall be either to this gentleman or to her death, according to our law, immediately provided in that case. Oh, this is a mistake I made last time. It is not and turned her obedience, it's just turned her obedience. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart. Turned her obedience, which is due to me. This is a list of things he's done. He's filched Aegeus' daughter's heart, and he's turned her obedience. The he is sort of twice, or you is sort of twice. No and. With cunning hast thou filched my daughter's heart, turned her obedience which is due to me, to stubborn harshness and my gracious duke. Be it so she will not here before your grace. Alright, so a little rocky, but it's kind of there, question mark. We are going to come back to that. But first we're going to play a couple lives of Nuclear Throne. And let's just see, it should be the same weekly, right? Let's just, do we random it? Might be foolish. Yeah, let's random it once. I'll give myself one, no, the rule still applies. If it's, if I die in the desert, doesn't count. I gotta get out of the desert. If I die in the sewers, I'm an idiot. Like, I deserve that. I don't get another run. But I get 2 lives that die after the desert, and then we switch over and we memorize some more. Good. Thank you for not protesting. Okay. Rebel with a golden shotgun. Good ammo drop so far. Hello, friends. That was relatively painless. Woo. So one of Rebel's downsides, in addition to the IDPD spawning in regularly and giving us a hard time, is there are no rad canisters. There are just those Portal Strike canisters. And the Portal Strike is cool, but it is not rads. So we're gonna be a little slow to level up. Whoa. Didn't see that one maggot. Let's just get him out of there. There we go. I would prefer that. Yes, alright, I'm now at max Portal Strikes. I gotta remember that. I regularly don't use it because it feels... I simultaneously don't know how to use it, and I am... Like, I fall victim to not wanting to use it up because it is a consumable, despite the fact that it very obviously, like, it gets replenished every level, or at least one gets replenished every level. Stronger Portal Strike. Honestly, I like that the most of all of these here. Now that I've talked so much about wanting to use my Portal Strike, maybe this will incentivize me to. And it does make it considerably stronger, if I recall. Said, you die? Thank you. So I gotta not pick that up. Oh, rude. I don't want that. How much of that did he dodge? I really didn't time that very well. Nice. Okay, so that chunked it for a good amount. Alrighty. Oh, it's gotta be Rhino Skin. I can guaranteed go to the pizza sewers as Rogue, which is cool. Owing to the right click. Which I incidentally almost call hero power. I've been playing too much Hearthstone. Which is another game that I was considered maybe doing like 1 round of Battlegrounds and then switching off. Yeesh. The fact that they can't blow themselves up with their grenades is just grossly unfair. I can. There we go. I can also blow myself up with my Portal Strike, which I have to keep in mind now that it's huge. Because that will absolutely do some self-inflicted damage. Okay. I'm digging the shotgun in these corridors, I gotta say. That felt good. That felt clean. What came through? Oh, that's more fun. That's definitely more fun. Pizza? No pizza. just to mildly save something. That's probably better. Plasma gun's fun, but I don't feel like it does the damage at the speed I need it to. Oh, that's where you are. Bolts, please. Thank you. Well, fuck me, right? Alright, let's do Scary Face. This is par for the course. Whoa, hey, friends. I do like that they can get blasted by, how should we say, common enemies or shared enemies. The enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing. Interesting. Certainly interesting. Oh, whoops. As above. That was relatively small. Right here, I'd love it. And... you get... okay. Oh, no, no, no. I don't want that. I thought that was just a regular, like rebel or rogue style IDE this one. That was up there. Okay, cool, cool. No way he shields, right? There's no way he shields. That was nice. That was nice too. I should get back, yeah. At least those fire traps get me more times than I would be proud to admit. It's just like, typically, is that better than the pistol? I don't think it is. I think I prefer the pistol. Because I do have the scarier face, I want the faster rate of fire. If I had like trigger fingers or bolt and arrow, or both, I think I would take the splinter gun there. That is based in absolutely no, like, logic. It's totally inference. I'm just making it up. But that feels right. I feel like the splinter pistol is going to be faster and slightly less damage, but a tighter spread. Okay. I just want to get rid of the sniper bots. Okay, already feeling better. I tend to get a little bit greedy when I'm fighting Big Dog. Like, I try to get in there and get all the drops. I feel like that usually leads to my demise. Dodged it this time, but... oh, thank you so much for that spam and chat. That's lovely. That makes me feel really famous. That's nice. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't want to become famous, so I'm not going to buy followers from you. But thanks for the offer. I think I'm gonna take... I hate all of these. I guess it'll be Euphoria, because I'm bad. Let's... okay. Okay. I'm ashamed to think of how that would have gone down if I didn't have Euphoria. Maybe we do that. Interesting. It's gotta be strong spirit. Like, it just has to be. Wow, that's a lot slower firing than I felt like it would be. I guess I'm coming off of a golden shotgun, so I'm biased. No. Not my proudest work. No, you don't. You still up there? Gosh, that was terrifying. Alright, that's enough. That's enough toxic. Any amount. Oh, hey. Sheesh, that was stressful. Put that car down. Sledgehammer just cannot justify that. What are you? I don't know if that's better or not, frankly. And in the absence of knowing, I'm gonna just stick with what has been kind of working. I say without my strong spirit. Darn. Alright, one more, and then we will do some memorizing. Let me, deal with this fellow. There we go. Thank you again. First time chatter. Alright. Let's run it back. This should give me another random one. Yeah. Let's see what happens. It's feeling great so far. Sure. Rad canister? Did I get it already? Oh, it's down there. What up? That's the infinite range of the laser pistol for you. I think I'm going to take back muscle. For the more immediate benefit, maybe that's silly, to start like stocking up on ammo. I also, like bolt marrow, I can see being a strong argument for it, on the assumption that I would come across a bolt weapon, but... It's a high concentration of bandits. Sure, there was a more efficient way to handle that. But, oh, thank you. That's more fun. Yeah, look at all that energy. Nice. That feels good. Rapid paw's probably redundant with the back muscle. Maybe I tech into getting a melee weapon. And I feel like melee weapons are especially good on crystal. Which, now that I think about it, might be the exact opposite, considering she already has the reflecting ability that makes melee weapons attractive. Or it's one of the factors. I just blocked that bullet from behind me. I heard the little sound. Alright. Energy, please. Thanks. I think I got the rad canister. I kind of zoned out for a second there, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I want the SMG or the assault rifle. Yeah, I want to go to the pizza sewers because I like them. I think they're fun. Triggers. I smell the build. I just need the weapons. Oopsies. Oh, didn't see the little bit of wall there. Got me a little bit. No. Nice try, but no. I likewise did not see that little piece of wall. Thank you. I heard something die. Free rads? Free rads. Not like free radicals. Like rads that are with no cost. You know what I mean. Alrighty. Let's pizza it up. I'd like to get rid of this grenade launcher now, if I may. I don't know if you could hear that. That's awesome. I didn't know that I don't know if you could hear that. Go back and listen if you like to the VOD or something. But the turtles say their color when they die. That's so funny. They said like purple, blue, orange, red. That's so good. What a nice touch. Oh, that's so pleasant. Let's take the health. I love shit like that. See you. Alright. I can't get over that. That's so a nice little detail. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Damn it. I knew that was a bad idea. And yet here we are. Oh, son of a bitch. Okay. Let's see. I'm so disappointed. Alright. Let's pull up. I have it on my screen, yeah. There we go. I should probably have navigated to this page earlier. Ironically, I don't remember what it was. Was it like 1079? Does that sound right? Hey. It's 1039 or 1080. 1037, I think, was the first page. That's where I got those numbers from. So, we have another reference. Let's go from What Say You, Hermia, to I do entreat your grace to pardon me, the end of this line. Although I think I just know those, so we might switch it up a little bit from there. But for now, let's do that. And if I do know it, I'll add a little bit more. Which shall be either to the gentleman or to her death, according to our law, immediately provided in that case. Aegeus's monologue ends. Theseus turns to Hermia and says, "What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god." Oh, right, there's this bit that, okay, so this will be good, because there's a bit that always gets cut, or in my experience has always been cut. One that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but a form in wax, by him imprinted and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. And I think that usually gets cut, because, like, come on, dude. So, let's come up with some images for that. What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god. And then he goes into one that composed your beauties. So maybe like a composer. And I'm thinking like charcoal on paper, like classic old school style composition that that it might be a little bit more clear, I suppose. Because my first thought was to put like conductor in, but I think that would end up confusing me. I want to be as precise as I can be by using images that are unique to their word definition instead of generalizing. I don't know if that made sense. The idea is if I use conductor to mean composer, then I lose some like resolution. Conductor can't mean conductor. And what about like musician? Does that end up meaning composer, or it just gets muddy essentially? So the words should mean what they mean. So I'm going to picture someone with charcoal, black lines and stuff, marks on the bases of their hands from composing sheet music by hand. But they are arranging the notes on the sheet music, like a big ass sheet. Don't know what time signature that would be, but big. And the notes are like pointillism style, arranging a painting of someone, or like a drawing of someone. A face, I think, like a study from here up. So, one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax. So, I mean, we can pretty easily come up with images for wax and probably pretty easily for form. I think I'd have a slightly harder time with to whom you are but as a, because that sentence means nothing, seemingly, on its own. And one to whom you are but as a form. You are but as a form in wax. To whom? I think to whom you are but a form in wax. I think I'm going to do to whom, like the number 2. Instead of whom, it'll be humming. So maybe it's the drawing made out of these pointillism sheet music dots is animating in sort of a stop-motion-y sketch way, and she's humming. So she holds up a 2 and hums. That sounds good to me. To whom? And like crease it in a way that paper wouldn't, but it essentially makes a hand. You know those metal, like it's a bunch of nails arranged in a box, and it makes a print, like outline of your hand? I want it to be something like that. So, by him imprinted, and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. By him imprinted. And then I guess we'll look at him, and he's got sort of an Iron Man-like glow going on in the chest, and that's going to be the power that is within his power to leave the figure and then or disfigure it. He's going to just Iron Man chest blast that thing, so the composition burns up, the paper, charcoal, everything lights up. One that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are, but as a form in wax. You are, but as... I guess I skipped over the form in wax because I said I would be able to come up with it. We should. To whom you are, but as a form in wax. So maybe there, her humming turns the sheet music into a sort of waxen, like a... think like Roman tablet, where it's, wax that can be etched into or something. So the magic of her humming, let's say, turns it into wax, so that when by him imprinted, his hand can press, like imagine a warm hand pressing through the wax. Or say you, Hermia, be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god, he that one that composed your beauties. That's nice, because we've got one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom. So that one starts and ends with one, and we have to whom. So maybe he's just holding up a 1 while he is composing. one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom, or hum, you are but as a form in wax, by him imprinted, and within his power, to leave the figure or disfigure it. And then he totally pivots away from the father talk and says, Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. So is Lysander. In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier. But in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier. Basically, like, yeah, Lysander's all right, but you got to do what your dad says. So you got to start liking Demetrius more, essentially. I would my father look but with my eyes. Rather your eyes must with his judgment look. I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in this case in such a presence here to plead my thoughts. But I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case if I refuse to wed Demetrius. That's just a line I've heard a lot, so it's in there. Nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts, but I beseech your grace that I may know. Sweet. Call me out if I miss a word, or even like a letter. I'm serious. If I, earlier, if I say, behold the night of our solemnity, and it's solemnities, call me out for that. That's wrong. I need to learn it correctly. Sick. So let's just quickly recap that. Most of it is in that first Theseus little bit, because those are lines that I'm not familiar with. So Aegeus sort of flies off the handle and is like, kill her, if she won't marry Demetrius. Theseus says, what say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax, by him imprinted and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. There we go. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. He just pivots. Disfigure it. Blah. So there could be some comedic timing in that, in my head, where it's to leave the figure or disfigure it. Chest blasts it, huge explosion, fire, scraps of paper, charcoal dust. What say you, Hermia? Kind of idea. So Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. Like, that's just the pivot there. So it's this big explosion, cacophonous thing. What say you, Hermia? Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. I keep saying the wrong line there. I think you know what I mean. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. So, Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. Let me just start that over because I got derailed slightly. I got derailed. I derailed myself. There is no passive voice here. That's all on me. I can't blame anyone else for that. Which shall be either to this gentleman or to her death, according to our law immediately provided in that case. Let's make sure that's right. Yeah. What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you your father should be as a god, one that composed your beauties, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax, by him imprinted and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman, so is Lysander. In himself he is, but in this kind, wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier. I would my father looked but with my eyes. Rather your eyes must with his judgment look. I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts, but I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case if I refuse to wed Demetrius. Cool. I think that's good. Pardon me, I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts. Cool. Alrighty. Let's hit it. Let's pretend this didn't happen, by the way. Son of a gun. Also, I made a stinger animation. This is apropos of nothing. I made a stinger animation earlier with the intent of putting it in, and the OBS is just being really weird and is cutting the last couple, I guess it wouldn't be a couple seconds. It's a 2-second animation, but it's cutting the last third of the stinger. So it comes across nicely, and then it just cuts. And it's really strange, and I don't like it. So I just decided not to use it today. And I'm going to troubleshoot that a little bit. I have a couple ideas of how to fix that. Most of the forums are like, anyone figure this out yet? Because it's still a problem. So I hope I can get it to work. But I should have that for next time. I'm reasonably confident I can do that. 2 more runs. Let's go. Let's go a little further. We got to Frozen City. Let's get to Little Hunter before all's said and done. We're a plant. Oh, wait. Did I forget to turn on desktop audio again? There it is. I've learned. I did that last time. Game sounds were still muted when I switched back from the memorization. I just figured you didn't need to listen to the sounds of Nuclear Throne while I was trying to memorize. I guess you don't really need to listen to me memorize either, but... There we go. Where'd you... Did I say you could leave? This is where we started. You up here? Yeah. Oh, is that a crossbow? Don't mind if I do. It's probably rhino skin. Game, can you stop giving me explosive ammo? I know it's a lot to ask, but... No one saw that. Oh, no, no, no. I guess I didn't want that assault rifle anyways. I wasn't sure if that was the last enemy or not. Turns out it was. Sick. Cleaning up. Didn't think you were gonna spawn here, dude, I'll be completely honest. Oh, really? That's on me. Like, I can't blame anyone but myself, but I'm still... feel disrespected. I think I'm gonna keep the wrench. I hope I'll get, like, scarier face or something. Trigger fingers, long arms, and it makes this relevant. This is bloodlust. It's not bad. It's just... the wrench is gonna start to fall off pretty significantly here. At least it can still one-shot the wrench. I have 2 bloodlust procs? Dang, dude. If you're not familiar, those barrels explode into like a toxic cloud, and those green frogmen, ball guys, I believe they are called, they get like supercharged by the toxic cloud thing. So unless I want to fight a much harder version of the same enemy, I knew you were there, I just didn't think you were going to make a move. That's more fun. I shouldn't blow them up. I should kill the ball guy first, is what I'm getting at. Trigger fingers. Yes, because I have a bit of life support in the form of bloodlust, so I feel justified in taking trigger fingers. Plus, I want it. That's where it's sad now. Sick. Wow, that's a lot of friends. Why I got energy there. I'm not happy about it. I refuse to die by explosion. This time. That's understandable. Okay, the explosions were from the bazooka. I was about to be upset. I gotta look at the screen. I have no one to blame but myself. Bunch of pistol? I think I'd prefer that. No, I have trigger fingers. This was what I was saying earlier. This is gonna be my rationale. I don't know if it makes any sense. I haven't been using the snare much. Well, Ravens don't give a shit about the snare. All the swinging, none of the dodging. Wasn't enough. Alright, one more. I'm gonna make the executive decision to play someone other than Rogue because we've played Rogue already. Guess it's Chicken. talk about it. Alright. Whew. It's so peaceful. Nothing but the wind whipping by. The imminent threat of being killed by bandits. There was an ammo chest I wanted. Sure. Nice. I really don't use the throw very much, but I think it's hilarious. I like it. I just like that in these early stages it one-shots the scorpions. Like, that's, to me, very useful. Sure. Gotta be. Would I rather have a slugger? I kind of have a close-up weapon, quote-unquote, in the form of a sword. So that's how I justify this. I'll use the slugger for Big Bandit, though. Oh. That was fast. Whoops. There we go. Much better. Excuse me. Thank you. I don't want to talk about it. And I certainly don't want a disc gun. I think this is better, like, single target stuff. It's got the range, which I appreciate. Although the slugger would probably be better. Oh, just kidding. Scary your face? Yeah. If I'm gonna keep carrying this sword around. That's huge. One shot of the rats with Scare Your Face is essential to this being survivable for me. I'm sure better people exist. Things like the double shotgun, like the flame shotgun and stuff, are really fun. Like, I wish I either knew how to use them better or they just were better. I just really like the vibe of them as weapons, but I never really get to use them. And by that I mean I'm too much of a coward to pick them up. Because I do get to use them. They're offered to me. Get out of my face. Whoa, one-shotting salamanders. It's like it's Christmas already. Speaking of which, I'm assuming that those of you who are into Christmas are already on to Christmas, as it were. My girlfriend is a huge fan of the Christmas time, and literally started playing Christmas music midnight November 1st, like as soon as Halloween was over. She likes Halloween. We celebrated Halloween, as it were, but maybe it's second stomach, because I've got a lot of... I'm gonna take second stomach. Like, Sugar Fingers would be really nice, but I'm worried about not being able to survive long enough to take advantage of the Sugar Fingers. Plus, second stomach works well with Chicken's ability to come back from the dead. Wow, speaking of which, let me just not use the weapon I have that works, and instead cheese around and almost lose all my life. Salt Slugger. That sounds better than a chicken sword. Health, please. Thank you. This is feeling pretty good. These are some top tier weapons. Don't need to talk about it. Ooh, strong spirit. Again, shout out to the second stomach. I feel like that was the correct choice. A better person, again, probably wouldn't need it, but I'm grateful for the insurance it provides. All bolts, that's fine. Don't get hit, I think is what that said. I'll be honest, I kinda didn't read it. This is big dog, right? Hello. Sizable dog. Wow. Freaking Salt Slugger, dude. Just because I like killing weapons. Dude, Salt Slugger's sick. I don't really want any of these. And I don't feel like going to the jungle to try to make use of the last wish, so I think I'll take the shotgun shoulders. Oh yeah, one-shotting these guys. Pardon the silence while I think really hard. Thank you for the shells. Thank you for not being a mimic. And thank you for dying. That was a really nice crystal caves. Now do I take the trigger fingers? Oh, or do I take the rhino skin? I want these. I think I'm gonna take the rhino skin. I feel bad for passing up trigger fingers twice. Dude, get out of my face. Spawning in way too close. Whoa. There's a big cluster. Who's left? Someone. Hello, friend. Wow. Feels pretty good. Sir, you're gonna put that car down and step away. Not sure what tagged me, but I can't really just say I'm shocked. The health feels good though. That's on me. That one's on me. Feel bad about it. Step away from under that car. Accidentally activate that. I didn't want that weapon chest anyways. Psh. Don't like chicken's throwing butt. Full story. That's where it ends. I do like this auto crossbow, this assault slugger, and this bolt arrow. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you for not charging me. That's the nicest thing you've ever done, Yeti. Or Rollerbot, I think they're called. There is no Yeti. I have to remember that. I kind of love this thing. I'm not gonna lie. Do I love it more than the assault slugger with shotgun shoulders? That's probably irresponsible. But it destroys projectiles. That's how I'm justifying it. I want to take it, damn it. Alrighty. Ah! Freaking explodibles. No! Oh man, I wasn't really paying attention, I'll be honest. I was riding the high of having a pretty good run going. That was 2, right? Yeah, that was 2. Oh man. That got me. Bummer. Alrighty. I think the way this is going to work out with my schedule. I got to Little Hunter. That's what I said I would do. That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm going to... I'm going to memorize up until the lovers start. Up until Demetrius starts talking, I should say, the men. So, either die to death, and then this and this. Either to die to death or to abjure forever the society of men, therefore, Hermia. Oh, pardon me. I promise. I find this stuff engaging. Alright. Either to die to death or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires, know of your youth, examine well your blood. Pardon me. Examine well your blood. Whether. Okay, that's weird to me. So that's going to take... We should put something there. Either to die the death, which I enjoy as a phrase for some reason, the death. Either to die the death, or to abjure forever the society of men. Which is like to become a nun, is what he's saying. Like, you can die, or you can become a nun, or you can marry Demetrius. But you just said you don't want to marry Demetrius, so those are your options. Either to die the death or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires. Know of your youth, examine well your blood. Whether, if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the livery of a nun. For I, to be in shady cloisters mewed, to live in barren sister all your life, chanting faint hymns to the cold, fruitless moon. Thrice blessed they that master so. It's blessed. Thrice blessed they that master so their blood to undergo such maiden pilgrimage. But earthly or happy is the rose distilled, than that which, withering on the virgin thorn, grows, lives, and dies in single blessedness. Cool. I feel pretty good about that. It's the whether, if you yield not to your father's choice. So, question. I got plenty of sleep last night, I promise. Whether, if you yield not. So, therefore, fair Hermia, I should come up with an ordinated list of some sort. Therefore, fair Hermia, question your desires, know of your youth, examine well your blood. So, it'll be a question mark. I'm going to picture the mini-boss Lust from The Binding of Isaac, if you're familiar. It's pink. And it's got a lot of question marks around it. Like it's puzzled about something. So it's questioning your desires. Know of your youth. I should have an image for knowledge. A raven? Question your desires, know of your youth. Or it'll just be like a knowing of your youth. Someone thinking about, like literally seeing into their head as though it is a television, and it's them running replays of them as a child, like knowing their youth. And then examine well your blood, I think is just going to be like putting your arm under a microscope, because that's how blood work works. So, examining well your blood. And then I'm going to have all of that. The reason I'm putting those there is so that I can tie them into whether if you yield not to your father's choice. Because I need some way of getting into that, even if I know the part before it. So I have this thing first that I can anchor this thing that I'm not as confident in onto. So, examine well your blood. All of that is going to get swept up in a big, like, tornado, hurricane kind of thing. So all of the pieces will be flying out, cow, house, you know the deal. And I think I'm also going to have a yield sign going around, so that I can have whether if you yield not to your father's choice, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Question or desires, know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether if you yield not to your father's choice. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm reading messages that are coming in that I shouldn't be reading right now. Know of your youth, examine well your blood, whether if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the delivery of the nun, for I to be in shady cloister mute. I think I just know that. And then Hermia says, so will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will yield my virgin patent up, unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty. Unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke. Yeah, it's unwished. And then Theseus says, stop, chill. Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, turns to Hippolyta, the sealing day betwixt my love and me for everlasting bond of fellowship, upon that day either prepare to die for disobedience to your father, or else to wed Demetrius. Okay, so it is in that order. By the next new moon. Upon that day. That's another interesting thing, is that he has an additional start there. Because if there weren't that interjection of the sealing day, he's saying, slow down, next new moon, which happens to be the day that my wife and I are going to get married, my fiance and I are going to get married. And then he goes back and says, upon that day, get ready to do one of three things. Rather than saying, take time to pause, and by the next new moon, either prepare to die. Does that make sense? So he's adding in this, upon that day, for emphasis, I guess. Take time to pause, and by the next new moon, the sealing day betwixt my love and me for everlasting bond of fellowship, upon that day, either prepare to die for disobedience to your father, or else to wed Demetrius as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for high austerity and single life. Or on Diana's altar to protest. Diana, not Diane. I should just know that. For disobedience to your father's will, or else to wed Demetrius as he would, or on Diana's altar to protest for high austerity and single life. Sweet. Let's try all of that, and then I'll call it there. Let's see here. Okay. So she says, I do entreat your grace to pardon me, blah, blah, blah. The worst, I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case if I refuse to wed Demetrius. Or no, we started before that, didn't we? Yeah, we covered some ground today. Because yesterday we did or last time I should say, we did the Aegeus monologue. So, what say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid. This is the part that was tricky, so I'm glad I'm reviewing this. Be advised, fair maid. What say you, Hermia? Be advised, fair maid, to you, your father should be as a god. One that composed your beauty, yea. It's beauty singular, I'm pretty sure. One that composed your beauty, yea, and one to whom you are but as a form in wax, by him imprinted, and within his power to leave the figure or disfigure it. Demetrius is a worthy gentleman. There it is. So is Lysander. In himself he is, but in this kind wanting your father's voice, the other must be held the worthier. I would my father looked but with my eyes, rather your eyes must with his judgment look. I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty. Nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts, I think. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in such a presence here to plead my thoughts. For some reason I keep thinking the word case is in there, like make my case or something. But it isn't, right? Worst that may befall me in this case. Okay, so I'm just getting ahead of myself. That's why. Good. I do entreat your grace to pardon me. I know not by what power I am made bold, nor how it may concern my modesty in terms of presence here to plead my thoughts. Presence here to plead my thoughts. But I beseech your grace that I may know the worst that may befall me in this case, if I refuse to wed Demetrius. And then he says, your options are either to die the death, or to abjure forever the society of men. Therefore, dear Hermia, fair Hermia, question your desires. Examine well your blood. Know of your... Question your desires. Know of your youth. Examine well your blood. There it is. Whether, if you yield not to your father's choice, you can endure the livery of a nun, for I to be in shady cloister mute, to live in barren cister all your life, chanting faint hymns to the cold, fruitless moon. Thrice blessed they that master so their blood to undergo such maiden pilgrimage, but earthlier happy is the rose distilled than that which, withering on the virgin thorn, grows, lives, and dies in single blessedness. I don't know why I delivered that like a news anchor. That was kind of weird. In single blessedness. And then she says, so will I grow, so live, so die, my lord, ere I will yield my virgin patent up unto his lordship, whose unwished yoke my soul consents not to give sovereignty. I'd rather fucking be a nun, she says. Take that, Demetrius, you dick. Separately, something that may be of interest, one of the reasons that I keep saying dear instead of fair and getting those, like swapping those, is that fair in basically all Shakespearean text is used to mean pretty or good or nice or things like that. And that is a direct relation to skin tone. So it's being used like fair as in light or pale equals beautiful or pretty or good, which is bullshit, obviously. So instead of saying, now fair Hippolyta, or be advised fair maid, it's not being used to mean fair as in just, like a fair duke or a fair judge or a fair trial or a fair rule or whatever. It's being used to describe the goodness in something or the beauty in something as a result of its closeness to a pale skin tone. So I'm going to say dear sometimes, if not most of the time. I know that it is fair for the purposes of memorizing it verbatim, as far as like what the original text is, but dear translates better today and isn't loaded with colorism, so I'm inclined to use dear instead of fair. So if I say fair, it's because I'm trying to do it according to the text. If I say dear, you know why now. That's all, because I realized I didn't explain that, but it's what was going on in my head. I think that's it. So yeah, therefore, dear Hermia. He's not saying therefore just Hermia or, egalitarian Hermia. He's saying therefore pretty, nice, dainty, whatever Hermia. Sweet is another option instead of fair. My sweet instead of my fair. Yeah, but that's that. Thanks for checking it out. I'm gonna probably drink some more water, honestly. And then I will try to review all of this again so that I can go right back in. I'll have to figure out, maybe, I think I just figured it out. Thanks for sticking with me while I did that. I think at the start of next time, I'll briefly review what I just did, but I won't go all the way back. I'll just do like per session, and then when I finish a scene, we can go back and I'll do the scene to ensure that I know that, and to make that more of like an event rather than every stream starting with an increasingly long listening to the same beginning lines of Midsummer over and over again. Like, you guys will absolutely memorize the first fucking, set of lines in this thing after hearing it said so much. But yeah, and then maybe as a fun side project, if I get sick of Midsummer, I can pivot to, I want to get the first line of every Shakespeare play. I think that would be fun. There are 37 of them. That shouldn't be too hard. I memorized the presidents. There are more of those than there are of Shakespeare plays. So, and there are increasingly more presidents. Shakespeare's not writing a whole lot of new stuff. So yeah, thanks for checking it out. I'm going to get going. I added a little bit of snazzy music. I don't know if you heard that. I didn't add any music to the ending card. Sorry. But nonetheless, thanks for checking it out. See you next time. Memorize some shit. Bye.